Hey guys, Coaster Confusion here. What if I asked you this? What is your favorite seat on a roller coaster? The answer might be the front, back, or middle. Or you could say that it depends on the coaster, which it does for me. Some coasters have that magic seat like on Magnum. I think people say it's like Row 3 or something, but everyone's different. We ride coasters on days with different conditions and at different times where the coaster could be running great or horrible. At my home park, Six Flags New England, I've ridden their coasters many times, making it easier to decide the magic seat on almost all their coasters. So let's get into this video. The first coaster will be Gotham City Gauntlet Escape from Arkham Asylum. This is definitely my favorite coaster in the park. Honestly, I don't find anything too bad about it. It's just the name is so unnecessarily long and the laterals are a bit painful. Like almost every other Wild Mouse coaster, there are single car trains that seat 4 people with 2 rows of 2 people. Having single car trains doesn't really give this coaster a specific magic seat. Almost every ride is identical. Riding in the front or back of the car, you'll experience the same strong laterals and short pops of airtime. So I'll say the magic seat on this coaster does not matter. I'm pretty sure most enthusiasts come to this park just for the credit, not to enjoy it. Next coaster is Catwoman's Whip. Yes, another of those Zero Tivoli coasters with the longest trains ever. The whole ride is just weak laterals. Other than that, the ride is pretty forceless. I'll start by eliminating the first half of the train because the train is so long and the coaster is not very tall. So when you crest over the lift, you're just hanging there until the last car has crested the lift. For that reason, any of the back cars are best for riding this coaster. Next up, we have the Great Chase. When I was around 8 years old, I rode this coaster just to say I rode all the coasters at Six Flags. Back then, I was just a GP kid who loved roller coasters, and I wasn't even counting credits. That was my only ride on this coaster, and I don't really remember which row it was in. All I remember is how intense it was for its size, and for this coaster, I don't know which is the best seat. The Parks Gerstlauer Spinner is up next, and the seat on this coaster does not matter. It's a spinner, so that means every single ride is different. Getting into some of the larger coasters now, Thunderbolt is a very enjoyable Woody, with a surprise moment of airtime in the middle of the ride. Most of the times I've ridden this coaster, they've assigned rows, and my most recent ride was a couple years ago. I was assigned the middle row. I personally don't like middle rows on most rides, but Thunderbolt is a ride I'm fine with any seat, because it's just such an enjoyable ride in general. Riding this coaster feels like it's going to fall apart, as the GP would say, but they're accurate this time. It gives off the vibes of an old Woody, which is a good thing. That surprise pop of aggressive airtime was strong even in the middle of the train, so for this coaster, any seat is fine, but I predict that the back row would be fun too. Are there any 40 Free Spin fans out there? I honestly love them and I think they're a little underrated. Just like Pandemonium, the Joker gives you a different ride every time. Sometimes I'll get an okay ride and sometimes I'll get an awesome ride. My favorite seats depend on the side of the track. On the green side I like to face the Wicked Cyclone side of the park, while on the purple side I like to face the Batman side of the park. Those are only preferences that I have, but like I said, every ride's different, making some better than others. Haha, and now we've made it to the Vekoma SLC. I honestly don't think it's that bad. It was way worse when it was Mind Racer. I don't think there's too much to hate about this coaster. I've experienced many seats on it. Front row looks cool, but it's honestly pretty boring. At the top of the rollover and the Sidewinder, it feels like the train slows down as if it's going to stall. On the other hand, in the back row, when exiting the Sidewinder, you feel like you're being pulled down by the rest of the train, which adds to the intensity. The middle will give you an okay ride, nothing too special about it. Towards the back is the way to go on this coaster if you want to enjoy the intensity of an SLC. Trust me, it's not a bad ride. It's the only SLC I've ridden. Continuing with the Vekomas. Flashback is a Vekoma boomerang located at Six Flags New England in Agawam, Massachusetts. Riders experience a cobra roll, a vertical loop, and then repeat the whole experience backwards. Since 2000, this coaster has been offering thrills and headbanging to all riders that dare to step foot into the train. Let's make this quick and easy. Front row is a no-no. Don't even try it with the back row. Go for the middle. Save yourself the concussion. On to a more positive topic, we've got Batman, a B&M Flores coaster. It's not bad and it's not the best. Front row doesn't really deliver the intensity that the back row does, and the middle doesn't really deliver much at all. So go back row. This ride lacks airtime as it focuses on inversions, but in the back you'll get a small pop of floater on the drop. I also felt that the back is a little smoother than the front. Now we have reached the top 2 coasters in the park. Wicked Cyclone, the amazing RMC iBox delivers the most intense ejector airtime in the park. If you haven't ridden this, you probably think the back row is the best ride for airtime, but I think this thing has the best airtime and intensity in the front. In my earlier enthusiast days, I would always ride in the back row, not even giving the front a chance. And then one day, I ended up getting assigned a random seat towards the front, and I've preferred that ever since. Superman the Ride is a back row ride. I've heard some people say it's a front row ride, but I found it less intense there. This is my favorite coaster on the park, and no, I do not have a problem with the restraints. My thighs do hurt a little at the end, but it's not enough to ruin the ride for me. I have now confirmed the Magic Seat on every coaster at Six Flags New England. That means it's the end of the video. If you've ridden any of these coasters, comment down below the best seats in your opinion. I'd love to hear it. I have nothing else to say, so remember, be you and keep riding coasters.